All right, good morning. Welcome to Make It Work Monday. Can everyone hear me?
All right. Yep, I can hear you, Katie.
Great. Me too. So this is the first of our summer camp series that we're going to be doing. So each day of the week, there'll be either an opportunity event or some content we share for our summer camp. So we hope that, we can continue the learning throughout the summer. All the resources for today's session are going to be at makeitwork.itcsforall.com. So it's a wakelet that all the resources that I share will be there. What we're going to be talking about today, today's objectives, are first thing I'm going to show you is template choices and discuss some instructional uses. Objective 2, I'm going to show you the features of the image editor, how you can create your content, edit it. And then I'm going to show you how to share, publish, or download the image. And then show you how you can use those in Canvas. Okay. Today is just me. I don't have a host. I don't have a moderator. So I'll be taking breaks between each of those objectives and taking your questions. I won't be able to read the chat, so I won't be able to answer any questions from that. So when I come to question time, just call out and ask your questions that way. Before I show you Canvas, I just wanted to show you the difference between the EDU account and the free account. So, and the EDU account is free. I put the link to the application in the wakelet. So you'll see that in my page view, I have additional things like classwork, team, and projects that you wouldn't have in the just normal free account. So just keep that in mind when you're looking at my screen, that those things will be different. Additionally, with the EDU account, which is free, you just have to prove you're a teacher. I put my staff ID as my evidence of proof, and my school's website. You get so many free images and more fonts and things like that with the EDU account. So that's really the bonus of having that EDU account. Are there any questions about that?
So you just click on the link and sign in and it will update, or you?
No, you'll have to fill out the application. So
okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yep. So there'll be an application and it will say, we'll ask you where you work and things like that. And you'll have to upload an image of proof. And like I said, I took a picture of my staff ID and submitted that.
Okay.
And if you don't get any feedback after a couple days, what worked for me, and I know has worked for other people, is to contact them, direct message them, DM them on Twitter. And they've been pretty quick about getting back and then approving your account. But I've also had other people who they just submit in, and then 2 days later, with no prodding, they get it submitted. So, yeah. Let's see. And just an overview of features. So you can make graphs, really pretty graphs on here. It's a little more elegant than maybe your spreadsheet graph. You can make printed materials. So that would be any posters or flyers that you might want to print. You can make social media graphics, infographics, and you can even do some basic photo editing. And then on the right side here, I just have a list of some resources that you'll see at the bottom of a Canva page that you can click on for further ideas on doing a color wheel or a logo maker, some helpful design features. All right. So before we get started, I just want to again welcome you to the summer camp. And and at the end of the session, I will be sharing a link to a Google form that you can complete, and it will provide you a certificate of attendance. So we're not putting this in the ERO. This is just kind of our volunteer thing we're doing this summer. But if you'll get a certificate, and if your principal decides, that they want to give you some, be able to submit that with your renewal paperwork when it's your renewal time, you'll have that evidence. All right. So let me share my window. All right, so I am here in Canvas, or Canva. Even I am getting the words switched sometimes. And so when I log in, this is what I see. And I don't often actually press create design. I often look for a template. And there's all types of templates that you can think of. For instance, one that I've used with foreign language classes before has been a menu. For instance, I have them, or their teacher maybe previously had them make a menu for that language's culture, foods, etc. And maybe they did it before, like on a poster or a piece of paper. But now they can like infuse some digital design skills into making it by making it with Canva. But what I imagine a lot of you guys will be using it for is maybe making some social media stuff, or stuff for your Canvas classroom. Anyone want to share what they're trying to make, or what ideas you guys have rumbling in your heads?
I thought I might try to make a newsletter for my staff.
Okay, yeah.
Haven't done it yet, but I started playing with it.
Yeah, and they definitely have some great newsletter templates that you can start from. So, and then it's customized with your own photos and things like that. So that's a great idea. Any other ideas of things you're thinking about? Another thing that you can do is you can create a brand kit, and you'll see that listed on the left-hand side. And you'll see that you can assign colors to your brand. So this is where you could put your school colors in. And that means whenever you're making a graphic in Canva and you get to pick colors, those will always be listed at the top. So let me show you. I'll just create a certificate. And if I'm working with this certificate, let me just choose this template. But I want to change the background color. You'll see that my brand colors are always here. So those are going to be, especially if you're, doing stuff for your school, there's some go-to colors you're going to always be using. So that's where you'll set those up in the brand kit, and you'll just press the plus sign. You'll put in the color. And if you don't know the color, a great thing to use is this Chrome extension called Eyedropper. When you install this Chrome extension, you can select Pick from Web, and you can just highlight whatever you want it to be, and then you can find out that code. And once I have that code, I can add that to my brand. So I don't have that eyedropper in the Wakelet yet, but I'll put it in after. So building your brand will help you, building those colors out will help you as you do designs. Also, there may be fonts that you use often. For instance, at Woodbridge and all of our website stuff, we always use this font, Amazon. And so again, when I go to make something and I want to change the font, you'll see that my brand fonts are here. So those things that you're going to start using and use often will be easily accessible to you. All right. So now we're in the image editor, and I picked a template for a certificate. And you'll see that whenever I click on something, that's an image or a something that I can select, and I can delete them, for instance, get rid of them, or I can move them. So those are images that have been placed onto this template, and I can change them. So for instance, if I wanted different shapes, now this is all fruits, but I want vegetables. I only got one, probably not spelling veggies right. Let's see. All right. Now I want veggies instead. I can select that, move it to the edge. But you'll see that this vegetable is over the certificate. So what I want to do is actually change its position and send it backwards. And I may need to send it backwards more than once to get it down past the other layers of material. So you can change the size by just shrinking the icon. And now I've added a vegetable to that little border. A little cute. We need some purple broccoli, I guess. So yeah, you could take these templates, the things that they make for you, and you're like, fruit really isn't my theme. I'm going to delete all the fruit. I like the concept that they came up with for this template, but I want to personalize it and make it a little more relevant to what I'm doing. So that's how you can change some of that. Other elements that you can add. So there are shapes, grids. Grids, this is what you would use if you're going to have a photo. So if you want, I don't really like that there, but if I wanted to pull in a photo into this, I guess it's doing it for the whole, oh, that's why. Frames is what I would want for a photo. So here I could put this here. And then if I wanted my photo on their certificate, maybe I've uploaded a photo of myself. I find that in my uploads. And then I slide this over to the frame, and my picture is going to be in a little circle. So that's another element. A grid is for like the whole actual layout. So then you can have shapes. If I just wanted to insert a green circle, maybe make a little badge for my certificate. Maybe then I want to put the vegetable in the badge. There he goes. There's my little veggie badge. You can see, you can just keep building and adding things. You can also add lines. So that's probably how they got these little lines here to make separation places. Again, you'll see you can change the color of that line. And you can pick colors from all of the rainbow. Or again, if you have a specific color you know the code for, you can put that in. What questions do you have about some of this basic design stuff that I showed you?
I didn't realize that's what frames were. Thank you for explaining that.
Yeah. Frames, like, nicely, you can then crop a picture into a circle, which is pretty nice. For instance, on like the graphic that I did for this event, I used this frame, just kind of like a not perfect square like thing. Yeah. It also, like, especially if you're doing ed tech stuff, this could be a cute frame, like the computer or a mobile device, like putting the picture, especially if you like had a snapshot of a website, putting that inside that frame would be cute.
Nice.
Yeah. You'll also see that they have stickers. So these things move. And you'll see that it's actually an animation. So if you were to download this as a JPEG, that's just an image file, you would not have the animation and included that. You'll see that you have to download it as a video or a GIF or GIF, however you might say it, to get that animation aspect. Okay, so if you're just doing a certificate, this probably isn't the best thing to add to it, because you're not going to get that animation on just a PDF. You'll also see you have charts, and you can have gradients, which are just shapes, but have two colors that you can blend together. So I'm going to do my school colors, and there we go. Now it's Woodbridgey, a Woodbridge blob there.
Hey, Katie, I noticed some of the elements on the free account, because I haven't got my EDU account yet.
Yep.
They charge like $1 or something.
Mm-hmm.
The difference between the personal and the EDU account, do you get some of those premium elements?
Millions of them, yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so yeah, you see I didn't have anything that said it cost money.
Right.
So yeah, so that is the big benefit of getting the EDU account. The other big benefit of getting the EDU account, there's two that I love. You'll get the resize option. So if I wanted to take this and turn it from a certificate into like a social media graphic, I could just click a button and it would resize it.
Oh, that's
you don't get to do that in the personal one for free.
No,
Yeah.
I've been
And
making
the other thing you get to do with the EDU account is when you share it, you'll see that anything with a little crown means it's premium. So that's beyond the free account. So I could share a link and someone else could edit this, but I could also share this link as a template, which is like what I did with those buttons in the Facebook group.
Right.
And then you get that template and you're not affecting my copy. You get your own copy and you get to do whatever you want with it. So that's really nice for collaborating, and like me and Dan and Billy and me and Emily at Freedom, I might make something and share the template with them, and they can change it to their school colors and use it.
Nice.
So it's really nice in that way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think those are the three big advantages to the EDU account: the resize, the sharing as template, and all the free images and more fonts. Other questions?
Katie,
Right.
can you show us how to do the banner?
I have a question about if this is able to be used in Canvas or not. I know that there's a link to Adobe Spark.
Yes, so this is not, you cannot LTI.
Editor, but can you use this?
No, you can't LTI with this. So you would just have to provide, like, say, hey, you can go to Canvas and make this, or Canva and make this.
Okay, thank you so much.
For the banner, so for instance, let me find one that I made. For instance, there's a banner I made for my school's counseling department. So you'll see the size on that banner is 760 by 100. And I can just share a template with you. So here's a template in the chat. So yeah, I just made a banner. You'll see again, there's templates galore, so you can really get exciting. But you do want to remember anything that you're putting in Canvas needs to be very accessible. So this is probably maybe going to be a little hard for someone to read, that template. So you really want to make sure there's a big contrast between the text and the background. So anything too jazzy might be a little too much for Canvas. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. All right, so I went over elements. They also have photos, and again, with the EDU account, you get way more photos than with the free account. So you'll see none of these are telling me like that they cost money. So that's great. There's text, and again, all kinds of fonts, and they even have like little font sets, which means they're complementary. So for instance, this like header goes nicely with this supporting text. So fonts can be something that you can spend all day trying to pick fonts that look nice together. So they really take some of that that thought out of the process here, which is nice. You can also add music to things. So this would be, you could add music. I would do that when making a presentation. So Billy doesn't make presentations in anything, I don't think, but Canva. So he does all of his presentations in Canva. They have really nice templates, again, for making presentations. Let's just try this one. So you'll see that they have, so here are all like the supporting different slide layouts for this template. And then if I add music to it, okay. And then when I present it, the music is there. So that's what the music would be used for, is it can add, and you can even mute it, add that level to a presentation. So yeah, their templates for presentations are really, really nice. Videos. So again, you can add a video. I worked with some math classes this year before we were out, and they were making infographics about the processes, the steps of a math problem. And so they could include videos of them explaining the steps of that, because you can pull in videos from YouTube. So they could do that, which is cool. These are just some stock video stuff. So if you were talking about digital citizenship, this could be a great little video to insert into your presentation, because he's paying attention to his phone and nothing else around him. So videos are an option. You have backgrounds, and again, with the premium account, the EDU account, you get so many more backgrounds for free. Uploads, you can upload images, I really love Noun Project, which is a great site source for these images. Images or icons are way more universal than photos or clip art because they're just very one color, so the contrast is easy for most people to see, and people can more easily interpret them than a clip art or a photo. So I upload a lot of those icons. Again, a recent addition is making charts. So if you had some students making, or you wanted to do some graphical representation of some data, Canva can let you do that. You can have folders of, you could pull things from your other designs. And then there's a lot of cool stuff under this More button in the bottom corner. And something that kids love is being able to add GIFs or GIFs to their work. So when we did those math infographics, there was a lot of kids that would put these in like for each step. And just a cool way for them to express themselves and their thoughts, their student voice, with adding GIFs to their infographics. Because they, when they're turning the infographic in, they're not printing it out. They're sharing a link with their teacher. So it can be as animated and graphic as they wanted it to be.
So how would you send this out to a student for them to create their own? Do they have to have an account?
They would have to have a Canva account, yeah. And so it's important that you would only use this with 13 and up.
Okay.
And it's not technically PWCS approved, but it is FERPA and COPA compliant. So that makes me feel okay about it. They do follow those guidelines. Yeah, we were a Google school and students would just log in with their Google accounts. So okay. It wasn't making a whole different account for them. Yeah. So yeah, the teacher would just say, like, in their directions, go to Canva and make this infographic, and then the student would then, create the view link and submit that to their teacher to turn it in. It's pretty easy as that. So GIFs are an option under More. You can also insert a map. So again, for those like world languages projects, I've had people do like a brochure, travel brochure. Teachers do that for their language, or each group had a different country. So they could insert maps of the different sites that they were putting into their brochure, which is pretty cool. And again, other things, YouTube, QR codes. So if you were making flyers to put up around your school and you wanted students to then go get more information, putting a QR code into your flyer could be very helpful, because the kids could just point their mobile device up to the flyer and get to the more further information that you want them to have. So that's basically the whole editing panel to make a graphic. Any other questions about that? All right, sounds like we're pretty good. So I'm going to then talk about sharing your graphics. And as I kind of already showed you a bit, the sharing button is how you would share it with someone else. So if you knew someone else's Canva account information, you could type their name here and give them access. Or again, you could just choose, you want to give them a link to edit it, and they would edit your version. So you want to be careful with that. Only give that to people you work well with. You've shared that document and it's gotten completely changed before. It's happened to all of us, and you're like, no. Share the link to use as a template, and that's the great one. So that's the one that you get with only the EDU or premium account, and it lets you like literally share your work, but then they can take it and do with it what they need to do. And then view, which literally they could just see it. You might, if you're going to be putting these graphics in your Canvas or account, your Canvas pages, what you're going to need to do is download them. So if you're going to download images, you want to download either a PNG or a JPEG. For your purposes, either one will be fine. Or if it's a flyer, you might want to print it out as a PDF. Or again, you have the video or GIF options if you've added animated elements to your image. GIFs can be really great for adding to social media. And Twitter just added the ability to alt text GIFs. So that really helps with the accessibility, to fulfill those accessibility needs. Another option if you use a GIF in social media is to make sure you put any text that's in that GIF in the actual body of the tweet or the body of the Facebook post. We don't ever want to forget that accessibility stuff. So you would just download the image, and you can select, like, if you want your whole thing downloaded. I usually just like to do one image at a time. If you were to do all of these images at a time, you'll see that it will download as a zip file, and then you would need to unzip that file just by, usually now on computers, you just have to click and it will unzip it. When I was using computers back in college, you'd have to like download this program to unzip files, but you don't have to do that anymore. So now I have these. I'm going to open the zip file. My computer does it for me. And now I have a little folder with both images. So that's how you could download it to your computer, which you would need to do to then put it in Canvas. You'll also see that there is a button, a big white button. So if I wanted to present this, I could. And also other ways to publish it. So I can just share a link with people. I can put it into a PowerPoint. I can embed it into a website. It does not embed into Canvas very well, though. So you can't embed it. I've tried. You can do all of these different things with it. You can get things printed. They have a printing service. So if you wanted to do that, and I've heard the prices are pretty good. I haven't done it myself, but I have some colleagues who have, and they say that the prices are not bad. Yeah, so those are just some ways to share your content. Any questions about sharing or downloading? Nope. Okay, cool. Then the last thing that I'm going to talk about is how you can add it to your Canvas. So you can see that I have these images here I've made in Canvas. All I had to do was upload the images. So in the rich content editor, I would click upload images. And then I would just drag my image from my computer into this box and it would upload. Then you need to click on options and you need to make sure you add alt text. So to make sure the text here matches what the actual image says, because the alt text originally will just be the file name, and that does not work really great for screen readers. And then you can also edit the size of the banner. So I'm on for this one using large. You might be like, well, I want this banner to actually go from like this side to this side of the screen. And you actually don't want that, because if you do, it will actually in some views in the mobile device not actually look very good. So you don't want it to go edge to edge. So make sure, every image you're adding alt text. And I found for these buttons that I created, the small size worked best. But for your images, you're just going to have to play with the size and see how you like it to look. Any questions about that?
Actually, does that allow the students to, the hearing impaired or the vision impaired students, to be able to read what that says?
Right, so that alt text that you put in, the screen reader, when it gets to that, that's what it's going to read.
Okay, thank you.
Yep, so that's why it's really important to add that alt text. And of course, whenever you're done putting anything in this, this rich content editor box, at the bottom, you're going to see the little accessibility checker. And you really want to make sure you check it to make sure that this page is accessible. I'm going to save it. Another thing that you should do to check accessibility is this is called the Wave Chrome extension. And if I do it, I'm going to see if there's any errors. And some of this stuff over here, this is all like Canvas. I can't change any of that. That's just built in. But I'm caring about the stuff that I put in. And green is good. We want to see green. That means it's okay. So it's checking for everything. So you'll see like, this is what it would read behind. That's that little alt text. And yeah, and I look at my page. And so this is giving me kind of a warning. It's like an alert, like, oh, this isn't maybe a best practice, but it's technically not an error. So that's another great, and I'll put that in the Wakelet because I didn't, thing to check your Canvas pages for accessibility. Other questions?
So it looks like you link each button to a web page, right? So when you uploaded a counseling image, it still showed up as individual buttons, right?
Yeah, so after I upload the image, okay, now I have the image, I did the alt text, I made the size, now I'm ready to make it a link. So I click on it, and then I go to link, and I edit the link. And then I put where I want it to go. So this button is going to actually take them to student view, which is outside of Canvas. So that's where that link goes. This one is actually going to a page in my Canvas course. So you'll see it's actually the Canvas course page. For instance, I haven't linked this before, but if you're linking to something inside the course, you would choose course links, and then you would find that assignment or that page you want it to go to, and that's what you would link it to. And then I save, and when you click the buttons, it takes you to the thing it's linked to. So for instance, kids can get to student view, which we want kids to get to. Naviance, also something they log into externally, but just this is taking them to the directions, because can't tell you how many questions I get about that. Transcripts, then it takes them to the page in the Canvas course about transcripts. So this is just kind of making the front page a little more student friendly for those, especially those vision students, seeing where they want to go. Because we know kids don't read. They're not, but if they see, oh, I need to look at college, yes, they're gonna probably tend to click on that more than if it was just a list.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions?
Can you show really quickly, because I didn't have my computer in front of me, how to get to the tools where you said that you can choose your favorite colors and favorite fonts really quickly?
Sure, yeah. So that's going to be Brand Kit. So when you're in Canva, you'll see Brand Kit right here. When you click on it, you'll be able to add colors to your brand and fonts. So just add.
Thank you.
Yeah. So if I wanted this pink, I just pick that. Now it's part of my brand. And every time I make an image, those will be like some of the colors listed at the top.
If I wanted to create, if I wanted to create a weekly schedule template to be like my homepage each week, could I do that in Canva and then like add text boxes, like embed it and then add text boxes in the rich content editor? Okay.
No, you couldn't. So yeah, you don't really want one image on. I wouldn't try and download a lot of like infographics to upload to Canvas or like weighty stuff because screen readers are going to have an issue with that. You're going to have to put everything that you put in like the flyer, the weekly schedule into the alt text, which is hard.
Thank you.
Yeah. The best practice is very little to no words on images. So you could download it as a PDF and link it is what I would recommend if you're going to have something like that.
Okay, I was just going to say that I always saved my little testing posters as PDFs and upload it. It works.
Yeah. Anything else?
So this doesn't integrate with Canvas, but can you use the redirect app that's in Canvas to add it to the sidebar on the left?
You totally could, yes. Yep. If that's something you're going to have kids go to all the time. I don't recommend putting a lot in this sidebar that kids aren't going to be going to often. And actually, I want to, you don't want anything in this sidebar that they're, yeah, I would like actually take this out. I'm going to take discussions out. I'm going to take quizzes out, take files out. If you let them see your files, they're going to see everything. So if you have quizzes in there, they'll see the keys. So you want files to be at the bottom. People, you may want to be at the bottom if you don't want them to see their classmates. But if you're going to ever have students choose their own groups, you need to have people up. But you could have them up while they're choosing the groups and then hide them. So that's one thing. We want to keep this navigation as simple as possible. So now I've hidden all those things. Let's look at the student view. Yeah, here we go. So see, very few things that they have to navigate through. So we want as few things as possible over here that they have to deal with. So if Canva is something, you know, if it's a marketing class and you're using it all the time, sure, put it over here. But if it's for one project, just put the link in the actual assignment.
Got it, thanks.
Mm-hmm.
How would you see using this for elementary?
Are there any other elementary people here?
I am.
Yeah, do you have
Yep.
any ideas? Because I will not act like I'm an expert in elementary.
So mostly how I'm seeing it is to use it to create graphics. I use Adobe Spark right now. And that's what I've been using for like my banners that I download and then upload onto my page. And I see this potentially replacing or at least being used for that, for certificates, for banners, for some of the graphics that I might upload. Elementary is under 13. And so when Catherine mentioned that, that stuck with me real quick, that even in 5th grade, my students won't touch it.
Yep.
Yeah. I was presenting this mostly as a tool for you to kind of add some engagement visually to your Canvas pages, not so much to have students be using it, but it is an option for student projects if they're over 13.
Right.
Yeah.
Got it. Thanks.
Yeah. Any other questions? I'm putting the attendance in the chat. So please, again, if you want that certificate, make sure you complete that attendance. You will get a certificate emailed to you. Make sure to put in your accurate name and your accurate email, because that is what will be on their certificate. It auto creates. So I'm not going back and making edits. You'll literally get the certificate like a minute after you fill that out. So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, I have a quick question for accessibility. My accessibility. So I know that you can do the Chrome extension eyedropper. Can you do that also on an iPad, or would you need to like?
No.
Oh, yep. All right.
Yep. Unfortunately,
There's so many
not.
limitations.
Yeah.